If I have to give somebody an advice as to what they need to do if their dream is to be a CTO of an organization, I think they need to be really, really well connected to technology, because the technology landscape changes very, very rapidly. Something that was latest maybe 2 years ago is no longer a used technology these days. Hi, I'm Amol Deshpande. I'm working as a Chief Technology Officer at Adeption. I have nearly 20 years of technology experience working in one of the biggest software companies in India, a couple of MNCs, banks on Wall Street, and now I'm working as a CTO at Adeption, which is a startup. When you start your journey as a software engineer or a software consultant, it generally starts at a junior level where you enter the technology field as a junior software engineer, where you'll be developing a code, working with other teams and building the softwares or maybe supporting the softwares. You slowly move up the rank and then you eventually become a team lead, wherein you will be managing a few team members. You will be working with clients if you are working in a support industry or service industry, or if you are building your own softwares, you will be managing teams that build the software. Eventually, if you keep moving up the rank, you will end up being a chief technology officer. There are other streams in technology like testing, then mobile app development, or business analysis, or project management. Eventually, they all end up in the being, eventually they'll all converge at the CTO level. So when you start your career, you'll be working as a junior engineer. That would, once you keep moving up the rank, it would take you about 4 to 5 years to become a senior developer or a senior software engineer. You keep moving up, and then in around 10 to 12 years, you end up becoming a team lead or a technology lead. There is an alternate stream to becoming a technology lead, which is completely based on your experience in building and developing the softwares, which is the solution architect, and that part only deals with how software development is done. Whereas a team lead or a technology lead or a technical lead, they may call it in different organizations, which is generally a person who is not only managing the software but also managing things around it, like managing the teams, managing the timelines, managing the budget, right? And then to keep moving up the ladder, eventually when you end up being a CTO, that is when you will not only be managing a specific team or a specific software, but you will be working as a person who is in charge of the entire technology landscape of your organization. I think as a CTO, your main focus is to build and develop your technology roadmap. If you are working in an industry where software is used as a product to support your main business, like banks or maybe industries like manufacturing, in that case, your focus is purely to decide how a software is going to help build your business or grow your business, right? Otherwise, if you are working in an industry which is purely focused on software, like say, think about the giants like Microsoft or Google, right? Or maybe even the smaller fintech startups, like you have Zerodha, which is the unicorn in India, or Ola for that matter. All their focus is basically to build a software that can scale and help millions of their users and provide them a flawless experience, right? And a chief technology officer plays a very crucial role in that entire cycle, because his decision or his roadmap to build that software is going to take the organization to the next level and maybe help them grow into the areas that were never explored earlier, right? So the CTO's role becomes crucial in that manner, wherein they design and manage the technology roadmap of an organization. May it be a small scale startup, or it could be a giant like Microsoft or Google. Generally, as a CTO, your major work is to coordinate, right? Because you will have different technology teams working on different pieces of software, or maybe even different products itself, right? You'll be working with vendors, you'll be managing the vendors, you will be working with your vendor partners, and generally your day starts with meetings and also ends up with meetings, right? The good part about this job is that you get to talk to a lot of people, and you get to collaborate with a different people from different areas of operation. So you would be talking to a lot of people in technology. You will be talking to a lot of people who do not have so much of technology knowledge, and maybe trying to help them understand how technology itself works. And then you might be talking to your senior management and working with them to build a roadmap, maybe technology roadmap or maybe a business roadmap, where technology becomes an assisting part, wherein how the technology itself is going to support the growth of the business. So a typical day in office for a CTO would be a lot of meetings. Most of those meetings are technology meetings, so having a good hands-on experience of the latest trends of technology is very crucial in this area, because you will be talking to your team members who would be technical most of the times. You will be talking to your vendor partners who would understand technology. So a lot of technical discussions during the day. You will be working on a lot of discussions about how a future of your organization would look like, maybe in say 2 years, 3 years down the line, or maybe a long-term future like 10 years down the line. You'll be having a lot of discussions about what the latest technology trends are, and try to understand and maybe imagine how those trends can actually help you maybe build a new business model itself, or maybe assist your existing business model. I think when you reach a particular level in technology industry where you are already working as a tech lead or maybe a solution architect, I think the skills that are essential to be a CTO is to have a vision of what technology would do for your organization. And it varies person to person, so there is really no way to define how that skill itself can be developed. In addition to what technology knowledge you have, I think a good understanding of a legal knowledge is essential, considering security is one of the most important part of the overall technology landscape, right? How you protect your clients' information, how you make sure that this information is not compromised, is very necessary in today's world where most of the things are digital. So knowing where the risks are and having a good understanding of how to eliminate those risks is very essential. So a good knowledge of legal is essential. Also, you need to have a good understanding of finances as well, because as a CTO, you will not only be managing a specific team, you will actually be managing the entire technology of your organization, which includes all your vendors, which includes all your internal teams, maybe a consultant, and all the licenses that are required to run the technology operations. So having a good knowledge and understanding of finances, and then using that knowledge to build maybe a yearly budget or a yearly roadmap that would allow your organization or maybe a higher management to understand how technology is going to operate over a period of time is necessary. And I think these are the skill set that maybe define a role of a CTO and maybe distinguish CTOs from your tech leads or your solution architects. I would say 3 things. I think being in touch with some of the best technocrats in the organization, because as a part of your being a CTO of an organization, you get to meet and talk to a lot of different people. You get to evaluate and work with some of the exceptional technology talent in the industry. That's probably one of the best experiences you would get as a CTO. Other one, maybe my favorite, is to actually have an ability and control over building a technology landscape and a roadmap of an organization. Maybe be a very small startup or a medium size or a unicorn type startup, or a big organizations like banks or the big technology organizations. A CTO is generally in charge of being a person to take care of the technical roadmap of the organization. So that's a really satisfying thing personally for me. And I think the third one is to work with different teams, right? You don't really talk to just one person in a day. You get to talk to people at different levels, different views, different products, different aspects for that matter, and you get to work with all those exceptional people. So I think being with people is probably one of the best parts of being a CTO. My answer to this question would be it depends. Depends on few factors, right? The type of organization you're working with, because if you look at typical technology sector in India right now, you will have some really small scale organizations. You could have like the startups which are really just starting up. You will have the billion-dollar startups or unicorns, right? Then you have a big, massive service industry which includes your giants like TCS and Infosys and Wipro, etc. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where you have the financial institutes wherein the core business is something different, but the technology plays a really important role there. And then you also have the big giants like Google and Microsoft and Apple and organizations like that. Now where you are working decides a lot about how much money you can earn as a CTO. The second aspect of, or rather the important factor that plays a role that decides the CTO's compensation is the type of product that you're working on. Like for example, generally your startups will have one product to sell, like Ola will have its Ola app, which is ride sharing, or maybe somebody like Microsoft will have a series of products that they're selling. And based upon the size of your organization, an organization can have one CTO or maybe different CTOs managing a very specific product line. Now, based upon your responsibility, your compensation will be decided. A typical CTO can earn anywhere between 40 to 50 lakhs to all the way up to 4-5 crores a year, right? There's really no cap on how much more you can earn. Although money is just one aspect of your compensation, generally CTOs, like any other senior level manager of an organization, are also entitled to have preferential shares or ESOPs, wherein they earn equity into the organizations. And that is a different type of compensation that is generally offered to CTOs as well, which may not be directly monetary benefit, but that's a different type of benefit that a CTO would also be entitled to. As I said, right, there is no direct way to becoming a CTO, right? You just have to climb the ladder. Your experience is your best friend because that is the only thing that is going to help you be a CTO eventually. But if I have to give somebody an advice as to what they need to do if their dream is to be a CTO of an organization, I think they need to be really, really well connected to technology, right? Because the technology landscape changes very, very rapidly. Something that was latest maybe 2 years ago is no longer a used technology these days, right? This is how fast it is changing, right? Few years ago, people were using website. Now with smartphone, nobody bothers to even log into your website, right? Everything is on app. So the technology changes rapidly, and as a CTO, you have to be in touch with the technology. Even though it is not a hands-on technical experience, you may not have to do a coding day in, day out, but unless you are familiar with what is happening in the technology world, you cannot really correlate things and connect those dots. So it is essential, or I would say it is must for a CTO to be connected to the latest trends of technology.